If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCoe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We all want to get to the playoffs. That was our goal, and I think the focus kind of switches to now we're winning in the playoffs. I think everyone got that taste of playoff hockey, and the biggest thing for me is that was so much fun playing in those moments and in those games. It makes me want to continue to keep playing playoff hockey.
Logan Cooley yesterday, locker room cleanouts, exit interviews as the Mammoth season comes to an end. Logan Cooley got a taste of that playoff hockey, wants more of it. Joining us now, Greg Wysnyski, one of our favorites, NHL writer for ESPN, kind enough to hang out with us. Greg, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Wish the Mammoth had hung around a little bit longer to spend some quality time in Salt Lake City later in the playoffs, especially on my company's dime. But
yes.
But nonetheless, maybe next season.
Well, you know what? That ESPN card goes a little further in Salt Lake City than it does in Toronto or some of these other cities. So, when you look back on the 2-year run of the Mammoth, and I'm not asking you to blow smoke, but just how is it impressive what you've seen out of this organization over the last 2 years?
Oh, absolutely. Because here's the thing. I mean, obviously, they had some advantages baked into their existence that other teams did not. And by that, I mean the meticulous building of this franchise's pipeline of young talent that Bill Armstrong started when they were the Arizona Coyotes. And obviously, all of that carried over to their existence in Utah. And, whether it's Dylan Guenther or Logan Cooley or even having a mature Clayton Keller in the lineup, it positioned them to be good in the near term and certainly positioned them to be good, going forward in ways that, say, an expansion team don't have, And so it didn't shock me that they made the playoffs. I actually predicted that they would before the season. They seemed poised for it. But I've been really impressed with the patience that not only Bill Armstrong, but obviously also Ryan and Ashley Smith have shown to allow for the young players to kind of come up, make their mark, and then augment them with veterans rather than throwing all their money in a moonshot, which they could have easily done as well.
Greg, the league, I spent some time just watching different games this week, and, it was a part of nearly every broadcast that brought up, kind of the series, the Mammoth, and do you feel like across the league that the Mammoth have taken a step up in terms of what people expect of them going forward?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I thought Logan Cooley nailed it yesterday by saying that the expectation now is that they're going to be a playoff team. And then, the next step is to be a team that people expect to advance in the playoffs. And, as you said, if you've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs this season, I think there's been one huge overriding theme, which is that some of the old guard either is exiting early or didn't even make the cut in the case of someone like the Florida Panthers, for example. And we're seeing all of these teams that are relatively inexperienced in the playoffs have to learn how to win. And so, Utah definitely had their moments to close out Vegas potentially. I saw John Marino say yesterday that, they have to learn to play a full 60-minute game instead of 50 minutes. I think that might have been one of their Achilles heels in that series. But whether it was Buffalo dispatching Boston, whether it was Montreal finding their way to a Game 7 win against the Lightning, over and over again in this league this year, we're seeing in the postseason young teams with extraordinarily high talent levels and high ceilings having to learn how to win series. And so if nothing else, this is going to be a real good, harsh education for the Mammoth on what it takes to close out an opponent that has the amount of Stanley Cup rings that the Vegas Golden Knights have.
So one thing I'll always do is I'll admit, I'm good to know what I don't know, and I'm willing to accept that. That's why I try to talk to people a lot smarter than me, like yourself. And I never played hockey. I never grew up around hockey, never really watched hockey. So it's been a learning experience for some of us here in the Salt Lake media to try to wrap our arms around it. And while I feel like I've got a good grasp of the game, now I'm starting to get to a point where I need to learn how to evaluate coaching. And when you look at Andre Tierney, I just want to get your perspective from the outside looking in. How would you grade him as a coach and he as a developer and also a strategist for this team?
First of all, never apologize for any of that. You can just fake it like most of us do.
I know, yeah.
But I think he did a pretty good job. I mean, as we talked about with the playoffs, I mean, I think another thing that kind of characterizes the current NHL is teams playing with tempo and playing with speed. And I think the way that he coached kind of pointed towards that trend and how you have to play in 2026 in order to thrive in this league. If I was going to knock him for anything, it might be two things, really. One, those mental lapses, those moments in which maybe a little bit of panic set in and they couldn't, close out games against Vegas, especially late. That can fall on the coach a little bit, I think. That's fair to say. And then the other thing is, from a personnel perspective, I wasn't really crazy with the apparent schism between him and JJ Peterka this season. I think, some of that obviously kind of bled into the playoffs and usage and things like that. So, I don't think overall there's a real issue with the players and with the Bear as far as their relationships go. But when you have a real high-profile player making that kind of money with that level of commitment from the organization, to maybe not play him in the right ways because he's not one of your guys was sort of a thing that stood out to me in the regular season and I think carried over into the postseason.
Last night I looked at the score and I thought it was actually the Rockies, but it was the Avalanche and the Wild in an absolutely insane game that was not played at Coors Field, but the ball was traveling like it. Did you watch that game and what were your thoughts about it?
I did watch that game. I also thought it was funny on my friends at TNT's panel, them calling it kind of a regrettable game because there was no discernible defense being played. But sometimes you need that in the playoffs. Sometimes you just need, hey, do they even have goalies playing in that game kind of scores to freshen things up because the scoring can be so tight. I think last night was just a really good example of why the Avalanche are the favorites to win the Cup. That was a game that was kind of getting away from them a little bit. Minnesota, despite being shorthanded without Joel Eriksson Ek and Jonas Brodin in their lineup, two guys that could really make a difference defensively, played extraordinarily well and really put the pressure on, rallied in the game. And then Colorado just kind of flexes that depth and that offensive talent that they have. And Cale Makar coming through with big goals. I mean, they're the big dog on the block for a reason right now. And it's because that roster has more options to have people play the hero than anybody else in the league. And provided their goaltending isn't turning into a pumpkin right now with the way that Wedgwood played last night, I think they're going to continue to be the favorite in this league.
Can Carolina give them some problems if they match up?
They can for two reasons, and that was my Stanley Cup final before the season prediction, and I'm obviously sticking to it because I've been given no reason to believe otherwise. The way that Carolina plays defensively, they are like an anaconda. Like they just start smothering you, and before you know it, you don't have any oxygen left in order to try to score goals. As long as Freddie Anderson, their goalie, is healthy and he is playing consistently, both things that have plagued them in the past in the playoffs, they could be a real challenge for Colorado because they're the kind of team that can D you up really well. Now, the LA Kings are that kind of team in the first round for Colorado, but the difference is, and here's my second point, I think this is the deepest offensive team that Rod Brendamore's had as a coach in Carolina, like top to bottom. Every line can score. And in fact, they've got two lines that you have to worry about offensively right now, the Sebastian Aho line and then that Logan Stankoven line with Jackson Blake and Taylor Hall. So that's more offense than Carolina's had in the past. And I think the reason why I expect them to get out of the East this year.
I'm not sure if your travels have taken you to Carolina, but have you experienced the beer skate yet?
I've not experienced the beer skate, nor have I experienced the beer saber. That's not to say that I wouldn't when I get down there. I will say that the Hurricanes reported that they had like less than 100 of those things left, I think, in the building by the end of the game. So they really hit on something, either the abject love of beer of the Carolina natives or just people wanting to drink out of a skate. But yeah, I mean, the atmosphere at those games in Raleigh, and again, like we don't talk about the Hurricanes a lot as national media. They're not a very super exciting team. They're a team that's never gotten out of the Eastern Conference, under Brendan Morris. So, like, there's reasons for it. But if there's one thing we do talk about, it's the atmosphere at those games. I mean, it is maybe the loudest arena outside of maybe Montreal in the league in the postseason. And, they get there, they tailgate like it's a NASCAR event. It's a real heck of a time in Raleigh for those games. And I'd love to see those fans get a chance to party in the Cup final for once. The
Oilers exit after round one and don't have an opportunity to try to get to their third straight Stanley Cup. There's some things blowing around. Connor McDavid didn't sound super happy afterwards, and there's a little bit of a buzz that he could leave and go chase the Stanley Cup. What do you make of that?
I don't think it'll happen this postseason or this offseason. Like, he signed a 2-year extension last October. That spelled out the window to win for the Oilers, to this season plus 2 more. I think the fact that he had a broken ankle tells you that he's not going to hold that against the team and then pull the parachute after this season. I think he'll give it at least another run, and then we'll see where they are, because both he and Leon Draisaitl were very clear that they felt that the team took a huge step back this season. That's got to be a really scary thing if you're an Oilers fan, because the clock was already ticking on trying to win a cup with McDavid. If they believe that this team isn't nearly as good as the previous 2 seasons when they made the Cup final, then they've got some real big work to do. And that's a daunting thing to think about, how the sands are slipping through the hourglass as far as McDavid's time at Edmonton, and you've got to figure out a way to turn this thing around as quickly as possible.
I mean, it was interesting hearing that comment yesterday where he said, taking a step back, and it starts with, and it almost felt like he was going to go somewhere, and then he goes, with me, with Leon, and everybody else. Of course. And like at first, I thought oh, he's going to go, he's going to do this, and then you could tell he's brings it back a little bit, but it just feels like. I'm sure it's salvageable. Win salvages everything, but it doesn't feel like, let's just say there's some much needed couples therapy going on, because they may be on a collision course to an ugly divorce.
It's always the funniest thing when a guy who's the last person you'd say is the problem says I'm the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that's what leaders do, but there's a chance this cat's going to win MVP next month, and the idea that he's just, anyone's going to look at the Edmonton Oilers and being they'd really have a shot at a cup if it wasn't for that Connor McDavid is just sort of nonsensical. But yeah, I mean, it is one of the more interesting stories in hockey right now. What would he'll end up doing? And on top of that too, I mean, listen, if they don't win next year, or even if they do win, what do the Oilers do? Do they trade him before that second postseason, before he can walk as a free agent? There's a ton of questions that are going to surround this guy, and obviously incredible for content.
You don't see a lot of wins. I mean, the Mammoth had a win in Game 4, or no, it was Game 3, where they scored 4 goals on 12 shots on goal. We're thinking, wow, that's a crazy number. Canadians end up winning with just 9 shots on goal. Just how rare is that?
Very rare. I think there were some stats last night about how it was maybe the first time that's happened in a Game 7 or some such, as far as going the entire second period without a shot on goal. But when you're in a situation like that, it's not about how you win, it's whether you win. And they had 2 kind of fluky goals, one off a Lightning player, then one that came off the end boards that Alex Newhook made a really nifty play on to kind of knock it out of the air behind Vasilevsky. Listen, they won a series of 1-goal games. The entire series was decided by 1 goal in each game, and credit to them. They figured out a way to win. I think this Buffalo matchup is extremely intriguing to see if Buffalo can shut down the Canadiens' top scorers like the Lightning did, but also to see if the Canadiens can handle a team that I think is top to bottom deeper than Tampa and might be a little bit more physical as far as their top-end players go than when Tampa throws at you. So either way, it's exciting to get some new blood in the conference final, and both of these teams, I think, play a very entertaining style with some edge to it.
Greg, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for your time, and look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Greg Wyshynski, writer for ESPN, and great working with us in covering hockey. Does a tremendous job. All right. By the way, Chewbacca with your May the 4th.
Be with you.
Be with you.
I saw it. We all have sabers.
That was impressive. That's probably in my top 5 of the AI generated photos he's
of your
done.
favorites, really.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that one. Okay.
And I'm actually glad Lloyd's not wearing the actual outfit.
Normally I do.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah. Well, usually he brings out the Princess Leia costume.
Yes.
But,
yes.
Who's over my? Is that
It gets
Jar
weird.
Jar Binks?
Oh yeah, that's Jar Jar
over my right shoulder.
Yeah, Jar Jar is really popular on this show. A lot of people really like.
See the front row. I'm surrounded by very strong people, but Jar Jar, he's a blabbering idiot.
Yeah.
Keep him away from me, please. Please, Chewbacca.
Are you a Star Wars guy at all?
I liked it as a kid.
Yeah.
I remember my aunt took me right down the Century Theater, like 33rd, as a kid, and we saw it. Saw Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, all those. But I'm not one that bought the set and played with them. And
yeah.
But you're not going to go to a movie and go to watch it and be like, wow, this isn't good, and then try to ask for your money back.
No, I'd never ask for my money back.
Okay.
That's a me problem. If I made the choice, I have to be accountable at least for the choice.
So we were in Vegas. It was it was BYU and Utah in the Vegas Bowl. And it was one of the new Star Wars came out, and Christian Cox was with us. Christian, diehard Star Wars guy.
Christian, yeah, he's great.
Christian's the best. And so he's like, let's go. So Hans, myself, Christian, we go to the Star Wars movie. We're 5 minutes into it. Like the thing.
Wasn't it the Force Awakens one?
I can't remember. Yeah, it was one of those.
I haven't seen any of the new ones. So I'll tell you
when the wording scrolls down like it does before every Star Wars movie.
I've had it.
Midway through, he's like, I'm out.
Can't do it.
And he got up and left. And I'm like,
want my money back.
I'm like, dude, am I supposed to leave too? And Christian's like, I'm not leaving. I'm like, well, I got my popcorn, I got my soda.
Literally he just didn't approve of the way the letters came.
Well, no, he's like, I don't think he wanted to be caught watching a Star Wars movie. I don't know.
But he loves going to Star Wars land and all
yeah,
that
he does that. Yeah.
Hobbitsville and
Chewbacca,
everything.
do you mind if I get a selfie?
A selfie.
You smell really bad, but here we go.
Oh man, you imagine being in those costumes all day,
working
in Florida or Southern California.
I don't think they're making enough money.
I don't either.
They're easily not.
I don't know how much do those guys make, do you think?
Not enough.
Probably not enough.
No.
They're probably just some high school kid. They're like, hey.
Hopefully they get their own. They don't have to share.
Oh man. It's like, hey, you don't want the swing shift on that one.
Hey, who was the last one to wear Chewbacca?
It's like
Bobby? Oh no.
Somebody got some Febreze. We got to clean that thing out. You got to air that sucker out.
I'm seriously, those things are disgusting. The smell.
Yeah.
I can't get near them. Hey, let's take the selfie, but you stand behind me about 6 feet.
Yeah. We'll crop you in.
I'll
How about
forego
that?
the selfie. That's okay.
I don't need it that bad.
Good, the bad, the ugly. Coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life's sleep.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It is your good, it is your bad, it is your ugly. This is always good. By the way, coming up on Sunday's Mother's Day. Now, look, I know there's certain events that you take and put a high amount of priority on. Anniversary is always up there. Valentine's Day, certainly the birthday. Here's the thing, folks, you can't screw up Mother's Day. A lot of times Mother's Day kind of slips under the radar a little bit, and you're like, oh, the kids will make something out of macaroni and crepe paper, it'll be fine. No. You got to treat that just as much as you do birthdays, just as much as anniversaries, just as much as Valentine's Day. So go to Minky Couture. Coach and I are going to be there coming up on Thursday from 10 to 2. So you'll be able to chat with Sandy and the rest of the crew. Shop now for 50% off any regular priced blanket. Use code ZONE50, or I suggest you just go to any Minky store and mention the Zone. They'll give you 50% off, because if you do it online, it probably will get there by Saturday, but I'm not sure. So you can guarantee yourself 50% off and the blanket of your choice by just going to any store. They're all up and down the Wasatch Front.
Yeah, the main thing at this point is you need to make sure you get it here.
Yes.
And so you got to be strategic. And the nice thing about Minky is there's stores all over the valley.
Yeah.
You can go get them. I'm excited to go up there. I was given a Minky for Christmas by my daughter, and I wrap up in it every single night. So very, very strong advocate of Minky in your life.
Whether it's January or July, the Minky's always comes through for you.
As a ceiling fan, if it gets cranking, you need a little protection.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's start with the good. I found this. Now, look, Lloyd and I, and now you as a Raiders fan, the one thing that brings us together is a collective hatred of the Kansas City Chiefs, and in particular, Patrick Mahomes. But how about this? Mahomes is expected to be a full participant in OTAs May 26th through 28th after coming off a torn ACL and LCL in his left knee. What is going on? How's he get, like, my guy
seems a little soon.
My guy broke an ankle and he can't participate in OTAs, and Bo Nix, and Mahomes is ready to go?
Well, he's been dealing with that ankle for all his
his whole life.
His whole life.
It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. That it seems really quick, but I mean, Jason Tatum came back this year and played. I don't know. There are a lot of advances being made, and guys are pushing it a little bit.
You want to rush him back? Fine.
Yeah,
I say bring
that's
him.
What you want to do.
That's a good thing. Let's bring him back and let's test it.
Let's test it.
You know what?
Let's hit him in spring. Let's hit him in OTAs.
I don't even think he needs a red jersey during practice.
I don't think so
either. Let's just go live.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if he's really got it.
By the way, I don't think I mentioned this. I was up at spring ball for Utah State, and they're going through their practices, and I'm looking, all of a sudden I'm like, these quarterbacks are taking hits. Bronco did not have the red jersey on any quarterbacks.
They forget him, or was it?
No.
Okay.
You know what? I respect the hell out of that.
And I asked him afterwards, I'm like, is that something that you regularly do? He's like, no, we're evaluating these guys. How can I evaluate and name a starter if they're not going live and taking hits? I want to know how they're it makes perfect sense. It's just so so rare. Nobody does that.
Can't have defenders pulling up. Come on.
Yeah, but they were laying these dudes out.
He makes a great point, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they are going to hit you in a game.
I don't know about doing that with that offensive line. They did have a pretty rough offensive line.
It does remind me.
That's a little wild.
I mean, you do need
wrong.
to know.
Not going to lie. I respect it.
No buck centers.
Yeah. There's a lot of watch out.
Just let him go.
And he's off.
Wow, he got around that edge fast. Well, yeah, you were supposed to slow him down. I'm like, oh.
No, but
that was me. Oh.
He makes a great point. And, Coach Rose used to say that I'd take him to see a guy, and the guy would maybe miss a couple shots early in the game and then struggle to make a couple. And he'd lean over to me and say, the guy does have to make shots when I'm in the building, ultimately, because that will happen when he plays for us. And That was his way of saying, "Me, who in the hell have you got me?"
Yeah. So I got to imagine that's got to be rough as a coach when you've been propping up this guy. You walk in, and he looks good in warm-ups, and then all of a sudden he's laying eggs out there.
You can't make one. But that was one of the best lines ever. He leaned over. I think it was probably the second or third time he'd seen him. And he said, he unfortunately does have to make shots. I know he's making them when you're in the building, but when I come, it's important for him to make them.
Because if he plays for us, I'm going to be at every one of his games.
So he will ultimately have to get past that barrier. And I understood. But it did make the rest of the game a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
please make one, dude.
Please make a play out there. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
All right, I want to get your thoughts on this one from your basketball perspective and a little bit of you're a big Red Sox guy. Are you Celtics?
My son Sam's crazy about him.
I know he's crazy about him.
No, when the Jazz came to Utah, that was kind of the end of it for me.
So Jaylen Brown hops on his Twitch account and starts going off on a live stream about how he thinks the officials had an agenda against him as the Celtics lose to the 76ers. We mentioned those 3-1 upsets. Well, that was another one where the Celtics blew a 3-1 lead, and now their season is done. Philadelphia, with Joel Embiid taking off and having a career resurgence, ends up moving on in that series. Jaylen Brown would go on to say, Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history, but he flops. He knows it. This ain't breaking news. It is what it is. And then he was going in on this Twitch stream, and he was actually showing plays. He said, hey, look, if you're going to call push-offs, call that. Same move, same ref. Oh, it's nothing with Paul George does it, but when I do it, I get the whistle. Paul George does it, play on, right? But you're going to call me. Everybody does it. But had that been me, it would have been an offensive foul. And he goes on. It's clearly not just it might be an agenda. He says it's clearly an agenda. Look at the same move. Same referees. If I had to choose, if I had to say, there's referees that need to be investigated. We had 3 of them in the last 3 games. Brown was called. Now, this is interesting, too. Now, he's got some numbers behind him. Brown was called for 10 offensive fouls in that first round. 10. Twice as many as the next highest player. Castle had 5. Cada had 5. Karl Anthony Towns had 5. He had 10 offensive fouls in that game. So he's like, look, you're picking on me twice as much as anybody else in this series, and I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. Does he have a case?
Well, first of all, we know there is all sorts of issues with the officiating and the thoughts of officiating in the NBA. It's that way now. It was that way back when, Jordan pushed off on Russell or didn't push off or whatever to get that space. But it's always going to be a thing where I think this jumps the shark a little bit. And although he does have some pretty compelling numbers, 10 offensive fouls in a series is crazy. And I have not watched each and every clip, but I will say that it's very easy, particularly on your social media channel, to get on and make everything about you.
Yeah.
And I do know there's probably not necessarily a conspiracy against Jaylen, and that's where it loses me a little bit. I agree with him, though, that Embiid is a flopper, and an egregious flopper to the tune of, like a Luka Doncic. He's going to fall on the floor. He's going to spend so much time on the floor, and he's a big man. And he doesn't need to go to the ground as much as he goes. But at the end of the day, these referees are human. They get caught up in all of it. And so I think there's probably half-truths in this on both sides. Could have some of those calls just gone against him because of momentum in the game? And officials get caught up in that. The one interesting thing, though, he said if there were people to be investigated. There were 3 guys on the last games. I do believe there are rogue guys out there. And if guys like Sorsby's being impacted on the gambling side, these guys got phones too. And they have the ability to impact certain aspects of games. And I would say it's probably going on more than in the NBA and college.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be.
I mean, honestly, if you were going to invest in somebody to alter a game, I think you would go after officials just as much as you would players.
Because you can sit a guy down quick.
Yeah.
And that's certainly the right guy sitting down quick. is impactful. And there were times on the road where, I wondered back then even when it wasn't as prevalent, but you always wonder. And then you hear the story of Donaghy and all of the things that went on. Tim Donaghy with he actually was indicted. So it's interesting. But Jalen has a good point. I don't think Jalen, I'm going to break it to you, it's not all about you though. Yeah. And that's where he lost me a bit.
It's an agenda against him, not an agenda against the Celtics. No, it's agenda against him. Okay. I'm curious to know, all right, over, under, Lloyd, 50,000 on the fine. Jaylen Brown.
They'll hit him pretty hard.
He's going to, when it
I'm
says.
Say over. I think it'll be over.
I do too.
You think he'll go triple or six figures?
Maybe 75.
NBA's so inconsistent.
I know, that's the thing. You can't really figure him out.
I don't know. I think it should be over.
The other thing with offensive fouls, guys, you do have to read the room with officials. And if you're putting an arm out to clear space and they call it on you, if they don't, it's like sitting on the side of the freeway and telling a cop, well, that guy over there, he's going fast. No, they made the call, right? Yeah. And so you've got to adjust your game maybe some too.
Well, and that's the thing. You can claim like, hey, I had 10 fouls against me. Double. Okay, well, maybe you're fouling twice as much as everybody else.
Maybe you're out of control, bro.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You extend that arm, they're going to get you more often than not.
I'm going to do some research on that one, and we'll table it. I want to do a little film study on Jalen's comments.
Let's do it. All right, there's your bad. Let's get to the ugly.
And, of course, the ugly.
Maybe an ugly for Dodger fans. If you're Lloyd Cole, this should be on the good. Shohei Ohtani has gone hitless in 4 straight games. That has not happened in the last 4 years. Which I think shows you how good that guy is to go hitless in 4 games, and that's the first time that's happened in 4 years. Dave Roberts said, even though the Dodgers won and beat St. Louis 4-1, that he believes that Shohei will come out of it at some point. He has high standards. We all do. I know he's incredibly frustrated, but you can't tell from his demeanor. He still looks like he's having fun out there. All right, well.
He's getting paid a lot of money.
I was going to say,
I'm like, that's the thing. Like,
he's getting paid like $20 million a pop fly.
Look,
it's all good. It doesn't really matter.
He's making a ton of money. He had his interpreter take the fall for the gambling, so that dude's in prison, and
life's good.
He got out of it scot-free.
He'll bounce back a 4-game hitless streak. Okay, come on, he'll bounce back.
Can I add an ugly
too? It's a long
too?
season.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was something that popped out at me this weekend. The Reds tied an Major League Baseball record this weekend by walking 7 straight batters.
Oh, that's right.
Can you imagine that's a little league thing?
That is little
sitting
league.
there for 7 straight batters and watching dudes advance. So that's ugly.
Don't miss games like that.
I will say the Reds, however, are off to a great start. And my guy, Ellie De La Cruz, at shortstop, I own a bunch of his rookie cards, so I'm hoping a continued trend upward for our
Let's
guy.
go.
You big card guy, Coach?
I have a huge card collection. You need to come over. In fact, I got a couple cards. Got a card for Brody.
Oh, yeah?
And I got a card for X-Man and Jackie Blue.
Jackie Blue.
There'll be pieces that we're going to want to hold on to.
He'll probably cut it up with scissors.
No.
No, it's in a protective plastic case.
Yeah, he'll cut that too.
He'll break that. I just wanted to see it, Dad. So anyway, remind me, I got cards for your guys, and we need to come over. You need to come over sometime because I got a Jackie Robinson 1955.
Ooh,
well, is that the card we're getting?
No.
Oh,
that's good for the old retirement.
But it could be that. What I'm going to give your kids. I bought a bunch of these. Wembanyama's rookie card, but he scored 1,000 points, and they made a limited number, and so they're those.
Wow.
So it should increase in value.
I love that you're still doing that. I used to collect cards like crazy. You remember back when they used to have the little pieces of jersey? I remember I had one that had a Steve Young jersey.
Yeah, I've got all sorts of stuff. You come over. I'll give you some Raiders cards.
When we were doing the thing on air during COVID that was
the best.
When we were opening up like 1980s packs of football cards and putting our teams together because we had nothing else to talk about. And so my father-in-law heard that, and he's like, "Are you into cards?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." And then my youngest really got into cards, and my father-in-law gifted us a treasure trove of cards. I had no idea he had all these cards, but he had boxes upon boxes, and it's been a blast going through those. Baseball, basketball, football.
Putting them in the little protective plastic and doing a deal. Yeah.
See, that ran its course when I got like my 8th Jumbo Elliott card. I was just like, oh, God, another Jumbo Elliott.
Jumbo Elliott. He's not very valuable.
No. Oh, man. Yeah, there were some on there like Chris Dolman. Okay, well, he was okay back in the day, but come on.
Don't need 5 of these.
Yeah. Irvin Fryer. No, that's okay. Yeah.
It's all about nowadays. The cool thing about cards, they put numbers on them now, so you can get numbered cards, and they have different iterations. Green ones and yellow ones, and but one of my best cards. I have a Wembanyama rookie to 25. It's numbered to 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, tell me you're one of these guys that goes to the place to buy them, and you're like measuring to see if the thickness.
Oh yeah.
Of the,
well, you've got
so you can get a valuable
good grade.
Yeah.
You got to get that 10, right?
You got to get 10s. 9s and 10s. 10s hold the day.
And even like a brand new card may not even be a 10, just the way it was manufactured. Right?
Correct. It could be off center. Yeah. So you're definitely, there's a lot of luck involved.
So have you ever sent one into the company to get it graded?
I haven't done that yet. I've got a bunch I want to do that too.
That's expensive, though.
It's expensive, and it's a little uncertain, too. I don't like putting my stuff in.
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out a better way, but I've got some killer. Over the last 5-6 years, I've just started to collect, and there's been a lot of cool, young guys coming out in every sport, so that's what I'm focusing on.
All right, 1146, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. That is Tim Lacombe. I'm Scott Gerard on every day from 10 to 2 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off duration, woodscapes, and super deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Accessing.
The best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Bad Leroy Brown.
Mr. Croce.
Yes. Great song.
I grew up on this stuff. Bad.
Yes, sir. All right, what's the when the Party Hounds get together, it's an eclectic selection of songs, but for the most part, you got it pretty dialed in. What's like the one, like, I did not see that one coming song that sometimes takes people by surprise?
Oh, man. It's a good question. I would say probably some of our softer stuff. We play a bunch of The Cure.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And so some of those, like Love Song, and it's not necessarily we're more of a rocker band, but we play some of that too.
You got to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah. And you got to play the hits.
Yeah.
The things that people dig. So we played Mr. Brightside in the last show. That was something that we wanted to do, and everybody kind of drilled it, and we got together. It's fun. It's a fun hobby.
Yeah. It's awesome. And we're going to start sending out some YouTube videos because people need to see the band.
Yeah, for sure.
Party Hounds, by the way, will be there for the BYU Notre Dame game in Provo.
That's right. And we're going to try to do a Friday night show the night before. So 2 shows in 2 nights. So that'll be fun. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully you're going to be out on the plaza for some hockey.
We'll be out there next year.
Yes.
The Jazz playoffs will be – we're going to have 2 sets of playoff plazas next year, guys.
I think you just make a camp out because we're going to have a Jazz game one night, hockey game the next night.
Sleep on the stage.
And just sleep on the stage. Let's go. The atmosphere was so cool, though, by the way. Props to all the Mammoth fans out there. It is a rowdy, rowdy atmosphere for those games. And when I was leaving the arena to head back for the post-game show after Game 6, and you knew how the game was going, and you knew that it wasn't going to be a win. And at that point, Vegas was up 3-1. So Yamamoto got the goal, got it to 2-1, had it a little bit more life. And then when Vegas just a couple minutes later pushed it back to 3-1, it just felt like it's only a 2-goal deficit, but it felt like a 4 or 5 goal deficit. It just felt like it wasn't going to happen. But the crowd was still there. And when I walked out and saw all the people there on the plaza, and SEG did a great job with the video boards and really and they had a DJ out there as well. I mean, they really set the scene out there in the plaza. Did a tremendous job. And when I walk out there and you kind of knew that the game was over and the series is over and the season was over, and the people were just like, you know what? We don't want it to end. Even though this game's probably not going to go our way, we're still going to milk every second out of it. So fans should be absolutely proud of themselves for what they did this year.
Well, credit to the Mammoth, honestly, for putting together in a short time, in a couple of years, they've got a viable, crazy, into it fan base. It's going to show up and be there. And that's hard to do. We've seen teams come through here, and it takes a while, but this did not take a while. This was instant love right off the plane. People went out to the hangar. You know, it was so cool. But I just envision what that thing's going to feel like walking out one night from a Mammoth playoff game and walking in the next day for a Jazz playoff game. That's what next spring will be like. I'm lock that down. 11:55 on May 4th. May the 4th be with us. That's what's going to happen.
Both teams will still be alive.
You believe that, right?
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Lloyd, are you with me on? Oh yeah, we're all over it. The Mammoth are certainly going to start to climb, and the Jazz, for the first time, in a few years, are going to get to the playoffs, and this place will be rabid.
Okay, all right. Poll question time. I did one earlier today, and we're going to get to that a little bit later in the show. So on May 4th, I'm typing this out on this as I say this out loud. On May 4th, 2027. Wow,
this is like working near Shakespeare over here.
Lottie freaking All right, May 4th, 2027. Will the Utah Jazz and the Utah Mammoth both still be alive in their respective playoffs?
A year from now?
1 year from now. So, choice 1, yes. Choice no. Or choice 2, no. Post. All right, you can follow me on Twitter, at ScottyGZone, at T. Lacombe, at Lloyd Colzone. All right, Lloyd, you get first vote. May 4th, 2027. Will the Jazz and the Mammoth both still be alive in their respective playoffs?
Yes, I think the Jazz are going to. They're going to be better than a play in game 1. So I think they'll still be alive. And the Mammoth, I'm telling you, that experience they just got was it's like NHL playoff experience on steroids. Those overtime games they had, those close games, like going up against a team like that. I think, yeah. I think they go to the next round.
And even, look, I mean, the way it's set up, it could even be a Game 7 for the Jazz in the first round.
Yep.
I mean, you got to think about this year with the Mammoth. They had a spot. There was a spot in this series where they could have knocked Vegas into a territory that only 10% of teams come back from. When they could have knocked that thing to 3-1. So they were close this year.
And it was there to be had.
It was there to be had. I mean,
that's 52 seconds away.
That's probably the part that probably stings the most for Mammoth fans is it was there.
It was there.
It was there.
But sometimes, I'm telling you, when you make those same mistakes, when a team just, what was it? What was Utah State's bugaboo this year? The glass offensive rebounds?
Giving up offensive
right.
rebounds.
And it's not for lack of trying. It's not for working on it. Some teams just physically have a hard time.
Yeah.
And for the Mammoth, I do believe the physicality of Vegas just over this series just wore them down.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a point where they broke. You could tell they broke.
Because simple things became not simple, and it's not like these guys aren't great players.
It was that the game four broke them.
Right.
Yeah.
That game, it was a different feeling from that when they lost that one game. Gave up that game. You're like, oh, that was a heartbreaker, but it was still, it's like, okay, but I think they actually believed in that.
I did too.
And it was that last game
it was kind of
just
like,
took it.
Maybe.
Yeah, that 3-2. Actually, it was game 5, I guess.
Because Vegas just answered everything. I mean, the way they answered Yamamoto's goal was exactly what they did all series long. Like the Mammoth could not necessarily ever feel comfortable with any kind of momentum.
Yeah. And that's been a bugaboo all season long. You know, give up, get a goal, and then you give one right back.
Yeah, within 2 minutes, as Jay said.
Yep.
It's happened all year long.
And And there's a point, I got to imagine as a coach too, there's a point in the season where you realize, okay, that's who we are. Like we can't recruit, we can't out-recruit that, we can't develop that throughout the course of the season. You hate to concede it, but it's just like, all right, we're going to have to scheme around this because that's just kind of our MO.
And they schemed. Like their scheme was good,
for
right?
Sure.
It was just, but at the end of the day, it reminds me of, I was at Clune back in the day when Clune was hopping. Like Bizdelik was there, and he had really good players. They won the league, right?
Oh, yeah. 1 year. By the way, it is San Jose thinks that they have a bad crowd now. Like, that's how empty it is at Clune.
Oh, my gosh. And the best part about it is you walk in through Clune, and you're going past like
the hockey
rink
and the track
and field and dodging javelins.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So it's so different than anything. And then back in the day, that year, like you walk in there and the place was a hive and the football players were right in your grill. So anyway, we were getting beat really, and it made me, you reminded me of that when you said, sometimes it's just who you are. My job at that point, I was a video guy. And so I would come out and get in the circle. I'd have the board for Ray to hand it to him every time. And so he grabs the board from me and he says, you know what I need you to do? Draw me up a player. Not a play, a player. Like I draw a guy up and have him come to life. And that's kind of how you feel sometimes as a coach. Because this, again, the team takes on a DNA. They have a DNA. You've seen it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And every team, like this year's Aggie team, I would say one of the more physical, chippy, India, And so you'd think a team like that can defensive rebound, but sometimes size, being slight, getting pushed around, it's not your best thing. So that was something they encountered all year long. Coach tried to change it, and they did get better, but at the end of the day, it was still a problem.
I mean, that's what cost them a game against Arizona.
Right.
They probably beat Arizona the way that they were handling themselves offensively. They just gave up a lot of extra possession. So, yeah, I mean, that's the hard part. When you get to a point in the year, like, okay, well, that's probably something that's just going to be a theme this year.
Right.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, kicking off your 12 o'clock hour. Next, remember, at 1:05, we'll recap the season and really take a deeper dive in the NHL season with our good friend Cole Bagley. He'll join us coming up at 1:05. Mackenzie Weegar, you referenced this, and I heard it as well. And I thought it was a really fascinating conversation with the guy that had not been with the Mammoth for very long. He was acquired near the trade deadline. And his thoughts on this season with the Mammoth and the future going ahead. We'll hear from him next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.